So a very important time in the life of the ancient Greek people was the Olympic Games. Now we know the Olympic Games are held every 4 years, and that was already the case in ancient Greece. But the Olympic Games were not the only games that the Greek would go to. And another set of games that they would attend is the Pythian Games held here in Delphi. Now the big difference between the Olympic Games and the Pythian Games is that the Olympic Games were dedicated to Zeus, while the Pythian Games were dedicated to Apollo. Because of that difference, Zeus was associated with more virile thing, with like sports and war, whereas Apollo was also associated with the arts. And so one big difference between the Olympic Games and the Pythian Games is that in addition to sports activities, in the Pythian Games there would be singing, there would be poetry, and sometimes even drama. Activities that were all associated with Apollo. And so the people participating would be judged on their capacity to deliver poetry, to play music, and other things like that in this theater that could seat 5,000 people. And this was the time, so every 4 years, where this theater would be filled up with people watching the experts delivering their artistic skills to them.
What's this wall we're walking beside?
This is the wall of the stadium where the sports events took place during the Pythian Games. It's even bigger than the theater and could sit 6,500 people. And it's older than the theater actually. This building dates back to almost 2,600 years ago. They even did the races in full armor.
Wow, it's heavy.
Yeah. All right. So.
Again.
All right. So we just came down from the sanctuary. I don't know if you can still see it from here.
It's super
but
far.
We walked quite a bit, and a bit before the entrance to the sanctuary, there is this spring, this natural spring, in which the people would wash their hands and their feet before entering the sanctuary. This is no longer required, but at the time of ancient Greek people, it would have been. And the oracle herself would bathe herself completely into the spring before delivering her prophecies to the people. And it's said for those that participated into singing, music, drama, poetry competitions, that if you drank a bit of the water from the spring, you would be possessed by the gods and deliver an even better performance. So unfortunately it's closed to the public today, but what we can see down there is the gymnasium. So it was a built structure, of course, with little area sheltered from the rain or the sun for athletes to exercise, and areas that were in the open, including a small swimming pool that they could use to refresh themselves after training. But what's worth noting is that gymnasiums in ancient Greece were not only for sports. And this was also a place where students would go to learn, to be taught philosophy, to be taught how to speak well, to be taught a bit of math, a bit of politics, and all other intellectual subjects.
Jeremy, where are we going?
We are going to the sanctuary of Athena. It is a bit down this path.
Can you point at where we came from?
We came from there, it's the museum, and the site is somewhere up the hill, and the village of Delphi is even beyond the hillside we see here.
Nice.
So, this rather impressive structure is the Tholos. It was a circular building whose purpose is still a bit of a mystery. It might have been a temple to a deity, might have been a temple to a hero. It could have been just a place to exhibit weapons and statues. No idea. Nobody knows, not even the greatest experts know about it. What is interesting about it though, is you can see in the columns different colors. You can see darker gray and lighter gray, almost white. The darker gray parts are the parts that are original, that have been that were part of the building as it was built 2,600 years ago. And the parts in white are the parts that were completed by archaeologists working to reconstruct it. So they fixed a little bit of it to give us an idea of what it looked like. So it's a mix of very old parts and newer parts. So all of this here is in ruins, but it used to be a sanctuary dedicated to Athena, and in particular Athena as the goddess of wisdom and health. But following a big earthquake, the temple was abandoned and left in its destroyed state, and so the sanctuary was kind of left behind, especially compared to the sanctuary to Apollo that had a much bigger importance for the people of Delphi.